Well, we're continuing our look at the resurrection accounts. This is Wednesday, day 3 of our 6-day look through these stories. And today we're going to look at that story about the disciples on the road to Emmaus from Luke. Luke chapter 24, verses 13 to 35. Now that same day, 2 of them were going to a village named Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked with them. But they were kept from recognizing him. And he asked them, "What are you discussing together as you are walking along?" And they stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened here in these days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, it is the 3rd day since all this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but didn't find his body. They came and told us they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the woman had said. They did not see Jesus." He said to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow to believe all the prophets have spoken. Did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. As they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus continued on as if he was going further. But they urged him strongly, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening and the day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread and gave thanks and broke it and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. And they asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened up scriptures to us?" They got up, returned at once to Jerusalem, where they found the 11 and those with them assembled together and saying, "It is true, the Lord has risen and has appeared to Simon." Then the 2 told what had happened on the way and how Jesus was recognized by them when he broke the bread. I really love the resurrection encounters, and perhaps the story of these 2 disciples on the road to Emmaus is my favourite. Jesus meets the followers in different ways, in ways that they most need. And in this account, Jesus joins the 2 followers, the 2 travellers, as they're walking away from Jerusalem. Now, Jesus had instructed the disciples to wait for him in Jerusalem, so these 2 are going in the wrong direction. I guess it's a picture of where they are in their understanding. They're confused. They're on the wrong direction. They've heard rumours about angels and a message that Jesus was alive, but they knew otherwise. He was dead. How could he possibly be alive? And yet he was their hope, and it just didn't make any sense to them. And I get the sense that these 2 disciples are shuffling along, dragging their feet as they leave Jerusalem behind. And so, Jesus joins them on their journey. He walks with them. What a lovely picture. And he listens to them, and then he opens up the scriptures. He explains it to them, methodically taking them right through Moses and the prophets, all the way through the scriptures, helping them see that this was God's plan all the way along, that the Messiah had to suffer and rise. This was the only way that God could put things right, make things right. You get a sense of their new understanding gradually dawning. They begin to join the dots, discover that their scriptures the ones they thought they knew so well, were all along pointing to what had just taken place in Jerusalem. They still don't know it's Jesus, but when Jesus joins them in their home, when he breaks bread, they recognise him. Everything clicks into place. And they say, weren't our hearts burning within us? They had met Jesus, the risen Jesus. And Jesus had transformed their confusion into understanding. He transformed their confusion into understanding. And not only that, Jesus had changed their direction, because what do? Well, immediately, they don't shuffle back to Jerusalem, but they practically sprint back to Jerusalem to catch up with the rest of the followers and tell them the good news. These two disciples and the rest of the followers, they had their scriptures. And then they had Jesus opening up these scriptures to them, explaining, helping them to understand God's great plan. Well, we too have those scriptures, and of course, in addition, we have the amazing Gospels and the letters. And we have Jesus Christ, through his Holy Spirit, longing to open up his word so that we can understand these great truths and understand what God has done through Jesus. Let's allow Jesus to come and let's read and study these scriptures and allow him to transform our confusion to understanding, and if necessary, to even change our direction. May God bless us through these readings. Amen.
Speak to me, and I will follow you. Lord, you spoke through stone and fire and rainbow. Lord, you spoke through angels' dreams and dew. Lord, you spoke kings and children. Lord, speak to me, and I will follow you. Open my ears so I can truly listen. Open my mind so I may understand. Open my heart so I can truly love you and live to follow you. When you spoke, your words commanded healing. When you spoke, the wind and waves withdrew. When you spoke, the 12 left all to follow. Lord, speak to me, and I will follow you. Open my ears so I can truly listen. Open my mind so I may understand. Open my heart so I can truly love you and live to follow you. Open my ears so I can truly listen. Open my mind so I may understand. Open my heart so I can truly love you and live to follow you. Lord, you speak in power through your Spirit. Lord, you speak by scriptures, words of truth. Lord, you speak through prayer and song and teaching. Lord, speak to me, and